And where was the drive? Where was the determination? Where was the leadership on the pitch? And I think we lacked leadership today. Work rate was there. They played him again a bit more over towards the right today to free Miggy up on the left. What is the point of an Atsu? He looks like a 4-year-old in a man's sport. Absolutely fucking useless. Oxygen thief, the pure definition of it. The man couldn't even draw a fucking straight line with foam on the pitch.
Welcome to Newcastle Fans TV. Newcastle have been beaten. We'll actually give Lee Mason a rating later on in this video. Coming up later on tonight, you've already got the match vlog out, you've already got the quick thoughts out, and we've got the final word coming up as well. Me and Paul are going to be doing scoring the players, so let's crack on with it on a disappointing afternoon. Martin Dubravka?
I don't think he had a great deal of chance, to be honest, with either goal.
Done well with that double save first half.
Yeah, double save first half, and again second half, a few sticky situations. I don't think his teammates did much service, to be honest, at all. So I think it's steady 7. I mean, you would tell I'm pissed off. Yeah. I am pissed off, but 7 out of 10 for Martin Dubravka.
I think that's fair. We'll go right or left. DeAndre Yedlin was in for the injured Javier Manquillo. Did we miss Manquillo? I don't know, maybe. Did Yedlin set the world alight? No. For me, what I didn't like, Paul, is in the first half, he didn't know whether to run at his man, but then he kept stopping and passing square. Now, Manquillo's been accused of that in the past, and I think that's what has let.
There was a few times, though, Lee, he just needed to get the ball, get it whipped out, and just get crosses in. And he divvied and he dallied. And to me, today, he wasn't decisive enough. And I would put Manquillo straight back in. I really would. And I wouldn't have said that, 2 months ago. I'd have stuck up for Yedlin. But the thing is, the one thing Yedlin has got is his pace. And today, why not exploit that? Why not use that against a tyrant and an aged, Zimmer-framed Leighton Baines? I could not understand. You've got a quick step up against somebody who's close to drawing his fucking bus pass and his pension. And you do not exploit that. Yeah. Disgusting.
I'm going to score him a 5, straight down the middle, average performance. Fabian Schär, we thought was originally Fernandez who scored. He came back in, he's been questioned, got himself a goal. What would you score him?
Again, obviously he scored the goal and stuff like that.
Put it away elegantly, didn't he?
He did, and I know he's one of your favourite players, and he did have an absolute mare against Manchester United, and he did step up from that. Ultimately, though, we did concede 2 goals, and he was part of a central defensive team who did that. So maybe a 6.
6 it is, yeah, for Fabian Schär. Alongside him in the central, it was Fernandez. You'd probably say he's the leader of the 3. First half more impressive, second half didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Again, you want to see that big physical presence and, demanding and commanding the box in the way that sort of Lascelles does, and attacking headers and being confident and assured. And like you said, first half I think he started quite well, but I think he faded and he ebbed and flowed as the game went in. There was like little patches where he was decent, but there was also little patches where he was not. And we have missed a little bit of leadership at the back. We missed a Paul Dummett, dare I say, or Jamal Lascelles at the back today.
Well, I'll let you score since you've talked about him a little bit more than with Fernandez.
Again, I think if you're giving Schär 6 and he scored the goal, I think you can't give any more than a 5 today because it was an inconsistent performance. And, at the end of the day, the defence is what we've built our form around. And
I'm just watching them horses, I'm petrified of them.
Oh, yeah.
Right, 5.
They can scream, them though. They can scream.
5 it is. Florian Lejeune, not his greatest performance, I have to say. I know he's coming back from injury, and I think we will eventually get the best of Florian Lejeune. 2 games in 3 days. Maybe that's a little bit too much for him coming back. But
3 games in 8 days?
2 and 3.
After having 7 or 8 months out, I think it's a lot. I think if a Clark had been fit today, a Lascelles,
or even a Dummett,
or even a Dummett, then he would not have been risked today.
100%.
He looked leggy.
It'll be interesting if he starts on Wednesday, because that's again, because we're a little bit tight with injuries with centre backs, but we're blessed in that department. But on today's performance, I think he's struggling a little bit to find a bit of form. 5 straight down the middle for me, 5 out of 10.
Yeah, he looked leggy.
Jetro Willems, sorry.
Again, similar to Fernandez.
This time though, he's a lot more forward than he was at Old Trafford.
He was, But again, he ebbed and flowed as the game went on. Yes, there were some good, purposeful moments, but especially in the first half, Everton seemed to target down that, down that channel and in behind him, and time again, they found a play and found a way to attack us down that side. So defensively, he had a little bit of a mess, especially first half. But when he goes forward, he's like an absolute freight train going forward. A couple of times again we were screaming, get the ball in, and it wasn't forthcoming. Not his best game, but you could say that about a lot of the Newcastle players, to be honest. So again, I think it's a middle of the road score, maybe 5. Apologies about the absolute fucktard, but que sera.
But anyhow, we're going to have the bill go past for now. Yeah. Let's move to the right of the centre. I'll start with Isaac Hayden, who I questioned him. It was Manchester United. It's not Manchester United. The game before Man United, where was he? Because he was a bit of a ghost. A little bit better. I think.
Bad boys. What you gonna do?
The bill going past. I think you'll always want Shelvey and Hayden. Don't get me wrong in your side, but Hayden won a couple of challenges, but
what did he do?
There wasn't enough from him for me to win. I know a lot of the play from Everton was out wide, which you bypass the midfield going out wide, but I'm going to score him.
The performance today was criminal. It was absolutely criminal. There's
Rob will like that.
He will like that.
Rob will like. I'm going to score him straight down the middle, 5 today. Yeah. Jonjo back in the lineup.
Was he? Was he really? Was he?
Good start of the game. But then
again, you could say this about quite a few players, but he ebbed and flowed into it. But to me, out of all them players who ebbed and flowed, Jonjo probably did the absolute least. He just became almost transparent. Stop running. You know, you let your players get past you, and you're not putting that tracking back. You're not putting the effort in. And if he's not spraying the Hollywood balls out, really, what does he offer us? The goal threat wasn't there today. I know he's our leading scorer and everything, but the goal threat wasn't there today. There was none of that drive forward. The performance wasn't there for me. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't what I would expect of one of our top earners, and not by the recent decent standard by Jonjo, and the fact he was rested at Old Trafford. I was expecting a bit of something, and there was nothing. And again, if you're giving the likes of some
Tom Davis, and that's out midfield, did he?
And that tells you it all.
And he's a young lad, a young Scouse lad coming through.
You know.
So, what did you give him?
What did you give Hayden? 5.
I'll give him a 5 straight down the middle.
I'll give him a 4 because the thing is, he's our captain, and I would and he's our captain though, and I expected a bit more. And where was the drive? Where was the determination? Where was the leadership on the pitch? And I think we lacked leadership today. So I would have normally given a 5, but I think I'm going to knock an extra one off just purely for the fact of when we needed leadership, where was it on the pitch? I didn't see it today. I'm sorry, so I would knock him down to a 4.
Miguel Almiron, who I actually thought had a good game. Getting himself around, a couple of nice little clip passes. Won a few free kicks for us as well. One of his better performances. I'm actually going to score him a 7. I'm going to score him higher. Yes, he didn't get the goal. Yes, he didn't get an assist. Everyone goes on about that. But his individual performance today, because I criticised him in the 3 midfields. I don't like Almiron, and I don't like the system that Bruce has with the 2 up top. Almiron, of course, Manchester United, he was horrible. He was woeful at Man United. Today was much better. He was probably our threat. So I'm going to score him a 7.
Yeah, and there was a stage in the second half where the rest of them looked as if they were doing the washing up, and he sat there and he chased about 3 or 4 of the Everton players from one to the other, and he was chasing them around, and not one person came to help him out and assist him and try and just close down in numbers. He was absolutely everywhere, running his heart out, and the crowd responded, and that was fantastic to see. And if a few more players, we talked about Jonjo before, the likes of Jonjo had showed the same sort of application and determination, then we may have been able to get a point out of that. Because how we haven't got a point, I just don't know.
Well, we'll talk about how in that in a minute. So 7 for him. Joelinton, I thought he had one of his better games. Obviously, take away the Tottenham game where he notched. Today, there was the work rate was there. They played him again a bit more over towards the right today to free Miggy up on the left. And he dropped deep, he worked back, he got the ball, he set running at defenders, which we haven't seen.
Running at defenders, pointing the right way, and it looks as if they're trying to tweak things with him to get the best out of him. He had that chance really early on after about a minute or so. He had other chances and opportunities in the game. and he put a decent shift in. That has been a criticism from the fan base about him. Today, I don't think you can say that. He put 100% effort in. I think he was probably and arguably certainly up there with Miggy as one of our best players. I would actually score him 7/8. I'm pushing towards an 8 just because.
I'll give him man of the match award, mind.
Well, I think he would deserve it.
Apologies about the slight camera angle. What were you saying?
Yeah, no, to me, today, it was one of the best. He wore his heart on his sleeve. He put a shift in. He got about. He was pointing the right way. He was trying to be a goal threat, trying to be a nuisance, trying to get shots away. What more can you ask for? Yes, he hasn't scored. He's the number 9. The onus is on him to score. But today, I thought he was... and a few things that I think he has been working on. I think he was the best player today. I would give him an 8. Give him an 8.
He's going to get an 8. Yeah, at St James's Park. Well, I say St James's Park. It's Barrack Road, but you know what I mean. You can see it in the background. Andy Carroll, he's at fault for giving the ball away. Obviously, Everton go up near the end and score. That's the negative from it. The positives.
Should have had a penalty.
Oh, we'll come on to Lee Mason in a moment because we will score the referee today. So, got himself about. The tactic was pretty clear for me. It was go diagonal and hit Carroll. That was the tactic from the defence, quite a lot going long. Majority of it worked. There was a couple of flick-ons, there was a couple just stuff that you want to fall onto that whoever's around him. It's better from Carroll, but because he cost a goal, well, you see he cost a goal, you've got to defend that goal, of course. But he give the ball away and Everton go up the other end and score. But Joelinton got the better of him today. I also think Joelinton got the better of him at Old Trafford as well. So I'm going to score Andy Carroll down to a 6 today. He's still one of the better performers around the pitch,
Still
but
put himself
about. It's better than average. That's what a 6 is. So
I would just say though, I'll just temper that with the fact of when we've got an Andy Carroll, I would like to see him more in the 6-yard box in the middle as opposed to constantly hogging the touchline.
He hangs on the back, doesn't he?
And that's a bit strange for me. And I would like to see him more in the middle because I do think he's going to be more effective. And you know, again, he's a striker who's not scoring goals.
Yeah, we need goals. We know this.
We need goals.
Hey, John, transfer window opens in 3 days. Right, let's get on to subs before we rate Bruce and Lee Mason. Atsu and Gayle, we're going to rate both of them. We'll do them joint. I think they both didn't really get much of a look in.
What's an Atsu? What is an Atsu? What's the point of it? He looks
he was meant to come good at Christmas.
No, I don't know what's happened this year. Bar Rumbug this year. What is the point of an Atsu? He looks like a 4-year-old in a man's sport. He's not. I mean, he couldn't get in the Everton squad when he was down there. He couldn't get in any other team, but for some reason, he steals a living at Newcastle. He has 1 or 2 good performances per season, a la Spurs away. But apart from that, when the actual fucking when you're in trouble and you need everybody pushing the right way, the last thing you want to see is Atsu warming up and Atsu coming on. Because it just looks as if he's walking around, I don't know, just take his dog for a walk or something like that. He shows zero to little interest. He's got 0 goal threat. He's a midfielder who can't pass, who can't cross, who doesn't bring people in. He doesn't track back.
He only played 15 minutes, so...
1. Shite, absolutely shite. It's waste of a substitution.
I'm telling you, I'm not scoring Gayle a 1 then because Gayle didn't play that bad. He didn't get a look in. I mean, to be fair, I'm going to score Gayle a 4.
He didn't get a look in, no, but I would have given him. I probably would have given Gayle a 4 because he didn't have a look in. His teammates didn't find him, but Atsu had the ball on numerous occasions, and he just fucks it up every single time. He's not the answer. The squad. This is the trouble with Newcastle. The first team, we've got some good players, but the squad is absolutely garbage in areas. And the likes of Christian Atsu should not be stealing a living off this club. End of. Simple as.
I don't think Paul's very happy with Christian Atsu's performance.
He's absolutely shit.
Steve,
comment down below how shit he is.
Right, okay, so we'll go on to Stevie Bruce. So what would you give Stevie Bruce?
To be fair to Steve Bruce, he's put out a decent team,
and you kind of grumble against that, can't you?
You know what I mean? So, and he's made the changes. People criticised some stuff at Old Trafford. He's played the strongest team that he's had. It's not his fault that there's players out injured. He did try and change it. He changed formation at least 3 times during the game. Putting the likes of Christian Atsu as a left wing back, whatever.
Your subs are questionable.
Yeah, your subs are questionable. And also, I will say, as well, putting the likes of Kraft You know what I mean? And Mankio on the bench when you've got the likes of Mutu and stuff who's sitting up at the training ground or in a box or whatever. You know, to me, I'd question little decisions and choices like that.
I think we responded well going 1-0 down because Everton were passing around far too easy for me. It was like a training ground exercise. They were just moving around and they scored through a deflected goal. Then we got our act together, and you just didn't want. I said to you, didn't I? Because you don't want that first half to end, because we ended it in the last 20 minutes brilliantly, but we had 10 shots, Paul, and we didn't put any of them away. And for me, that's why we didn't score. If we don't score, it'll come back and bite you later. Yeah. We should have been 1-1 going at half time. 10 shots. 10 shots on 10 shots. And to be fair, there was moments in that first half that we were absolutely. It didn't even start to play football, yet we still got 10 shots in during that first half. And like you said, if you don't take your chances, but we have strikers who ultimately don't take the chances, and that is the big problem with Newcastle. A little bit of sloppiness, and of course the referee. I'm interested to get into the referee. We'll get on the referee. So we'll score, Bruce. We got beat. What we're giving them? See, I would go straight down the middle because
5. I'm five. Yeah, at the end of the day, team good, but. Your choice of who you're putting on the bench and your substitutions, I'd probably question. An average performance.
So Brucey, you get a 5. Lee Mason, who stole the show for the wrong reasons. So take it away, Paul. It's all yours.
Absolutely fucking useless. Oxygen thief, the pure definition of it. The man couldn't even draw a fucking straight line with foam on the pitch. Absolutely.
That is actually true. He's not joking. He couldn't even draw a straight line, and the players had to tell him. Andy Carroll.
Yeah. I had to say, it was a worse referee performance since the Burton game.
Stroud.
Yeah, it's as bad as that. He just did not know the rules. Substitutions were taking place and he was letting them go off at half time rather than the nearest touch line. The decisions that he was given to Everton time and time again were ridiculous. And the worst one was right at the end, where it's as clear as night and day. It should have been a penalty at the end. We've seen the replays back. We got the footage of it once we were inside the ground.
It's a blatant penalty.
It was a blatant penalty, and he's an absolute fucking bottle job. The referees are getting worse. There was a day when I used to stay at the likes of Uriah Rennie and co. But I tell you something now.
Paul Durkin.
I'd go and pick him up and fucking drop him off at St James's Park, the referee again, because that was disgusting. It was rightfully booed off.
I'm probably guessing that's a 0 then.
I'd give him a fucking minus number if that was possible. The best part of that lad slid down his mother's leg, and it's as simple as that.
That's the ratings. We're disappointed, of course we are. Coming up, the last word, as I mentioned, let us know what you think of mine and Paul's ratings of Brucey, the team, and of course Lee Mason, who had a shocker. Hello everyone, bye bye.